Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Qudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And this is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Shai, doing another lesson. And today I'm going to be reading through the spirit Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach 25, the 25th chapter. Okay. So let me go ahead and start at the top. It says, "In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before the Most High and men: the unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agree together." All right. So the first one is unity of brethren. And how is the Most High beautified? Because we are out there with the sound doctrine, prophesying, glorifying the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right. Love of neighbors. Okay, this goes, that's one of the commandments, right? Love thy neighbor. So you have to understand, who were the commandments given to? They were given to the Israelites. All right. So this law applies to love your neighbor was when you were given the law, after we left Egypt and Moses received the law, that was applying to the Israelites. It's not talking about here in Babylon, America, meaning loving your Edomite neighbor. Yeah, you got to be at peace with your neighbor here in Babylon because we're in captivity. But the love of your neighbor applies to your brethren, your fellow kinsmen. A man and a wife that agree together. All right, and that's a tough thing to find here in Babylon, right? A man and a wife that agree together. You could have people that are married, and in this place, marriage is not sacred. Okay, men and women. You have either the man is he doesn't love the woman, or the wife, she don't love her husband. They're together for the kids. They get all stressed out on each other, stress each other out. The true marriage is going to come the first true marriage is going to come when Yahweh Shai, the husbandman, comes back and we get reunited, because we're the bride, right? The men are the bride, right? Meaning joined together. Married means joined together. So let's read 2. 3 sorts of men my soul hateth. I am greatly offended at their life. A poor man that is proud, a rich man that is a liar, and an old adulterer that doteth. All right, and then the thing is, a poor man that is proud, and if you're the Israelites were the poor, right? Metaphorically speaking, we're the poor of the world. So you're proud as an Israelite. You're taking on the spirit of Esau Edom, okay? Because he's the proud man, okay? So if you're acting proud as an Israelite, you're acting like the so-called white man. You're taking on the spirit of Esau Edom, the wicked. And that word doteth, it means excessive foolishness. So it says an old adulterer that doteth, that takes on excessive foolishness. If thou hast gathered nothing in thy youth, how canst thou find any in thine old age? Anything in thine age. How comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. And that word comely, it means beautiful. So a beautiful thing is judgment. All right. And ancient men to know counsel. Who are the ancient men? The ancient men are the 144,000, the spirits of the elect, the men who are, who were with Yahweh Shai before the foundations of the world. The men who were assisting Yahushua during the time of the creation, right? Ephesians 1 and 3? Let's see. 4. Ephesians 1 and 4. According as he has chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children or sons by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will. So the ancient men are those ancient spirits, those spirits that were with Yahweh Shai before the foundations of the world. The first spirits that were created. If you're of the 144,000, and Lord's will, I'm of that number, then you're one of those ancient men, those ancient spirits, right? Let's see, Ecclesiastes 25 and verse 5. Oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding the counsel to men of honor. Right, the old men, referring to those ancient men that have the true wisdom. All right, the 144,000, right, the ones that are spoken of in Revelation 14, the ones that can learn the song, right, tells you that in Revelation 14. The counsel to men of honor, right, and the counsel, the true counsel is the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Who gains that understanding and that wisdom are those ancient men, those 144,000, the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Much experience is the crown of old men, and the fear of the Most High is their glory, right? And who fears the Most High the most? Who sets up the banner, you know? And the banner representing the Bible. Who establishes the wisdom, and who establishes the wise counsel are the men of the Lord. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai puts their spirits on us, and we establish the true wisdom and the true understanding and the knowledge. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. So, we're witnessing our enemy's fall, right? We have a front row seat. We actually spoke about this on camp last night, but we have a front row seat witnessing the fall of our enemy. And who's our enemy? Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the oppressor, the wicked, the proud man, right? Verse 8. Well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding, and hath not slipped with his tongue, and hath not served a man more unworthy than himself. All right, and really the wife, because we're in Babylon, so these women, their mindsets are all fucked up. They don't understand the ways of the Most High, right? They're in a whole different mindset. Their mind is in a whole different ballpark. You see. So, man, this is talking about really the scriptures, which the scriptures is that Sophia, like in the wisdom. That's what Sophia means in Greek. So, having that understanding, a wife of understanding, this is our wife, this truth, right? This is our righteous wife of understanding, because you ain't going to find a woman that has this type of wisdom, or that's able to receive this truth in its entirety. Right? Because even King Solomon, he told us that, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7:28. It says, which yet, well, let's start 27. Ecclesiastes 7:27. This is proof that none of these women can receive this knowledge and this truth in 100% like the men. All right. Right now, this spirit of understanding, the spirit of truth, it only dwells with the men. Especially here in Babylon, you're not going to find a woman who's on board with the scriptures 100%. You know, they get offended. All right, you get all these Jake women talking about, oh, the Lord's dealing with me. Bitch, no, he ain't. He's not dealing with you. And I call you a bitch because, you know, if you actually admitted that you had to fix yourself, had to repent, then maybe I wouldn't call you a bitch. But you bitches, the Most High is not dealing with you. All right, he's just not. You have to get with your man, get in order. Because remember what the order is. It's Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, then Yahweh Shai, the Son of the Heavenly Father, then the men, then the woman. Okay? And if you women are able to receive that, then guess what? You're a woman that has wise counsel. You're a humble spirit as a woman. But if you can't get in order, then, you know, don't give yourself too much credit. Okay? Ecclesiastes 7:27. Behold, this is King Solomon. It says, behold, this have I found, saith the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account. And what's the account? The account is the scriptures, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Okay? So, only it's showing you that there's few men that can grasp and understand and receive this knowledge, this spirit of truth and wisdom. But, you know, so it's far and few between with the men. And really, if you really want to get technical, it's 144,000 men, right? And I keep quoting it. Let me grab it. Because the men of Yahweh Bashim Yoshai, the 144,000, are going to be the ones to grasp this knowledge. Okay? I'll start at 2, Revelation. Well, you know what? I'll start at 1. And I looked, Revelation 14:1, and I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads, because the elect knows Yahweh Bashim Yashai's names, the true names. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. All right, and now that's going into singing music, right? Playing music, which we always tell you this truth when we teach, when we sing. When we teach and when we read, and when we're, you know, prophesying, it's likened unto a beautiful song. The scriptures are likened unto a song. And that's why it says right here, verse 3, and they sung as it were a new song, a refreshed song. That's what new means. Before the throne, before the 4 beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. Okay? So who's able to learn this song? Who's able to gather this wisdom? Who's able to understand knowledge and truth? The 144,000 is the one who could. That's what it tells you. Only no man could learn that song except the 144,000. I'll back this up with Ezekiel 34 and verse 31. It tells you, and ye, the very last verse, and ye, my flock, the flock of my pasture, are men, and I am your power, saith Yahweh the Most High. See that? So the flock of the pasture is the men, okay? And that's why King Solomon says, I found one man out of 1,000, which he was throwing up numbers. The point being is you're not going to have all men that have this knowledge and have this truth. And then he says, but women, I haven't found none. I haven't found one. Okay? And if Solomon was the one who would know that, because he dealt with 1,000 women. He had, 700 wives and 300 concubines. So if anybody knew, it was definitely Solomon. Okay? All right, let's go back to Ecclesiastes 25. So women, your best bet is to just get in line, get in order, follow. If you're lucky enough, follow a man of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai who has the spirit of understanding on him, which is resting on him. Okay, and this is your salvation. You women need to cleave to a man of understanding. Otherwise, you're not going to get salvation. Okay, or have a child from one of the men of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? Let's get that real quick. As we go through these scriptures, and we have to prove everything we say. We don't just say things without, backing it up with the Holy Scriptures, okay? 1 Timothy 2:15, it says, well, you know what? Let's start at 11, all right? So you women, you might be listening to this this video right now and feeling some type of way, wanting to, jump on the comment board or wanting to come against what we're saying, what we're teaching, the truth, right? It says 1 Timothy 2:11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. You see that? So you women, you just gotta shut your mouths and listen. It's not about the scriptures doesn't deal with emotions, okay? The scriptures deals with truth, not emotions. So your best bet is, see, the phone had a chime on that. Your best bet is just to shut your mouth, listen, all right? And that's why I was telling you, not women. It's hard for a woman to receive this truth and this knowledge because most women don't know how to shut their mouth and listen, okay? Verse 12, but I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. All right. And that shows you that Babylon is all out of order because women open up their big mouths all the time. And to the men of the Lord. We just had it a couple weeks back. We were at camp. You had the wicked ritual of the what's his name, Juan Diego and the Virgin Mary, the pagan Catholics. Issachar was doing a ritual. They crossed us right in the streets, right? The Lord had brought it. The Lord had ordained their little mini parade to go right across our camp, and then the Lord stalled their parade because their PA system stopped working. And so we were out on the corners prophesying, and they had to hear what we were saying, and it was just total silence on their part because their PA system went out, and they had, like I said, there was a little mini parade, and they were all just stalled right in front of the camp, and all they could hear was us prophesying and teaching, and then out of nowhere you just hear the women. The men didn't say nothing, but you hear the women opening their big mouths, giving their opinion, which doesn't even matter, right? And these women were out of order. We're reading it right here. But I suffer not a woman to teach. So women are not even supposed to teach. You're supposed to teach. If you're a woman and you have a spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai on you, you are to teach your children, okay? And younger women in your family. Outside of that, you're out of order. Nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, right? There's order. Adam was created before Eve. Okay, the woman she's not the head of the household. All right, here in Babylon, they allow that because this place, like we always tell you, it's out of order. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Right, the serpent deceived the woman. The man Adam was sinful because he went and followed his woman, just like a lot of our men do here in this society. You know something's wrong, something's wicked, something's not right, but you go and do it anyway because you're fucking woman. And that's why, when a man follows a woman instead of the vice versa, there's always going to be sin and heartache and trouble. It says, notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing, if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. And the sobriety, it's not talking about you can't drink. It's talking about sobriety dealing with the doctrine. You have to have a true doctrine. You can't be drunk off the Babylonian juice or the false philosophies that you can, they have freedom of religion in Babylon. You're not supposed to have a freedom of religion. There's only one true religion, one true doctrine. And that's what's being sober is referring to. Having the truth. If you have a church where the head pastor, the lead pastor of the congregation is a woman, well, guess what? You're not sobriety. That's not a sobriety. You're not leading with sobriety. That's a unsound doctrine. Men are the leaders, okay? Not the other way around. And if you can't receive that, well, guess what? That's what I was telling you. That's why Solomon said there's only one man and he couldn't find one woman out of 1,000. See, it's simple for us to understand when we go into these scriptures. But you pagan Christians, all you different people who are worshiping idols and following pagan doctrines and false idols and this, that, and the third, it's not simple to you because you have all kinds of bullshit that you've added to the doctrine, or you corrupted it, polluted it. Okay? Ecclesiastes 25 and let's see, 8. Well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding, and that hath not slipped with his tongue, and hath not served a man more unworthy than himself. Okay? Dwelleth with a wife of understanding. And what does that mean? That means we have this knowledge, this truth. Alright? The Sophia, the wisdom. And we not slip with our tongue, meaning we haven't went off with the doctrine. We're teaching sound doctrine. You start teaching things that don't line up with the scriptures, that don't add up to the scriptures, that's a slip of the tongue. And there's a great punishment that comes with that. Verse 9. Well is him that hath found prudence. Prudence means you consider the future. And so prophecy. So right, you found prophecy. And he that speaketh in the ears of them that will hear. Oh, how great is he that findeth wisdom, yet is there none above him that feareth Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, so you have these people, they like to say, oh, well, the Most High is dealing with me, but yet they don't fear Yahweh. They're out there committing adultery. They're out there, disrespecting their husbands. They're out there, usurping authority over the man. And what we read you're not supposed to do, they're still doing it. And then they want to turn around and say, oh, well, the Most High is dealing with me. No, he's not. If you don't follow the blueprint, if you don't follow the guidelines that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has laid out for you, then you don't fear Yahweh. You're not in the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai if you're doing anything that doesn't pertain to the scriptures. If you're making your own rules, making up your own doctrine, doing it your way, you're out of there, right? You gotta follow according to the scriptures, according to true wisdom. But the love of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai passeth all things for illumination. He that holdeth it, whereto shall he be likened? Right, and the illumination deals with the light. Who has the light? The men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai have the light. In this verse right here, this proves that we're the high value men on the planet Earth, because it tells you whereto shall he be likened? Like what could be likened unto us? There's nothing comparable except for a man with wisdom who has the true light, the illumination. The fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is the beginning of his love. And faith is beginning of cleaving unto him, right? Who's doing that? The men of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai are doing that. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. and any wickedness, but the wickedness of a woman. You see that? So the heart is the mind, right? So you might have, every time I read this verse, I think about like, I'd rather like break my arm and have excruciating pain in my arm, or whatever, break a leg, break an ankle, than to have a plague of your mind. To have your mind plagued, all right? You see what I'm saying? Like if you break your ankle, you can take a ibuprofen, right? Go to sleep, right? Maybe some type of pain pill, whatever, or just deal with it, right? If you can just endure it. But if you have the plague of the mind, you won't even be able to sleep. You see what I'm saying? And then the wickedness of a woman, hey, that's like there's nothing more, there's nothing worse than the wickedness of a woman, as it is written. And any affliction, but the affliction from them that hate me, and any revenge, but the revenge of enemies. There isn't those things that I don't even have to break that down. It says what it says. There is no head above the head of a serpent, and there is no wrath above the wrath of an enemy. All right, and who's the serpent? Esau, Edom. Who's the enemy? Esau, Edom. I'd rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Now that says a lot right there. You see, you'd rather dwell with a dragon or a lion than live with a wicked woman. And think about that, Verse 17, the wickedness of a woman changeth her face, and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. Her husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it shall sigh bitterly. Right? He go and sit with the neighbors. He's just like, you know what I mean? All stressed out. His woman got him all stressed out. Goes to his job stressed out. Comes home dealing with a fucking scorpion. Right? It says, verse 19. This is a good one right here. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. All right? You have a woman, you might love her. You might, that's why a man would be stressed out if he loves her. If he don't love her, he ain't going to be stressed out. But if he loves her and he's trying to, do the right thing, keep the family together and whatnot. But yet she's, especially in this day and age, these women have all the power. Look, the social media got their head all up in the clouds. They have all these plan A, plan B, plan C, all the way to plan fucking Z. Because men are hitting them up online, creating a false sense of security and backup plans that they have. And they women are opportunists, right? So they'll actually be fooled by all that false attention that they get online or on these social media platforms. Before you know it, she's out there being a hoe, being an adulteress, right? Showing her wickedness, and then coming back to her husband acting like nothing is wrong, right? What's that scripture talks about? She wipeth her mouth and says, I have done no wrong. Let's get that real quick. You get a woman, she go out on her man, come home like nothing happened, and then continue to be deceptive. Proverbs 30:20, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. Right? And that she eateth, that's not talking about just eating food. If you catch my drift, okay? I mean, she's going out there being a whore, and wipes her mouth and acts like, I haven't done nothing wrong. And you got a lot of that going on in Babylon, America. And then the wickedness in this age, the young women they're being literally being taught to have high body counts, to not to disregard anything really. These women are out of control to a level that has never been seen on the planet Earth. Okay. That's why it's so hard to, get a wife. That's why when we read this chapter in Ecclesiastes 25, listen, the wife it's talking about is talking about that Sophia. This is our wife. We're not going to have women that are in order until the kingdom. They're going to start to get in order through Jacob's trouble. But for now, your best bet is to just dwell with Sophia, dwell with this knowledge, this truth, this wisdom. Let's see, 25 and where am I at? It says, verse 20, as the climbing up a sandy way is to the feet of the aged, so is a wife full of words to a quiet man. All right, meaning that's going to be a stressful situation. If you're a quiet man and your woman's got a big mouth, that's going to be like an old man trying to walk up a hill of sand, Just picture your old-ass grandpa, your great-grandpa, trying to walk up a hill that is sand, a sandy hill. Meaning he's going to be falling over and over, scraping up his legs, scraping up his elbow, just fucking dangerous. You know what I'm saying? 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman, and desire her not for pleasure. Right. If you're going after a woman strictly on her beauty, man, be careful, because some of these beautiful women, they're the most wicked. Verse 22, a woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. Meaning, if you have a woman and she's the breadwinner, she's taking care of you in this society, and she's going to be treating you like shit. She ain't going to respect you. She's going to be doing all kinds of, all kinds of wickedness. And what are you going to do? You're just going to sit there and take it as a weak man because you got your woman taking care of you. You ain't supposed to have that. That's out of order. The order is there for a reason, because a man, he can take care of a woman and not have this type of attitude, which being full of anger, or and also much reproach, which means shame. It's a shameful thing if you're a man and you have a woman that's taking care of you. She's paying all the bills. She's she's the lawgiver in the household. That's no way to live. Okay. A man can do it because we're set up that way. We're set up to protect and provide and be the man of the household. But women, if they're the ones who are the, head of the household, the breadwinner, the lawgiver of the household, then guess what? It's going to be nothing but shame and trouble. Verse 23, a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance and a wounded heart. A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress maketh weak hands and feeble knees. And that's the worst, right? You have you have stressed out as a man. You're going through some things. You're going through some afflictions, some trials and tribulations, and your woman just standing there like nothing happening, and she's not trying to be a comforter to you. She's not trying to be a servant to you. Matter of fact, I haven't said it, but that's what the word woman means. It means servant. All right, go look at the dictionary if you don't believe us. Like I said, we go into the words, and we, it's a different level when you deal with the true men of Yahweh Bashem Yoshai. All right, we're on a different level, man. The Lord put a spirit of diligence, a spirit of study, a spirit of reading, a spirit of prophesying, a spirit of understanding on us. Okay? It says, of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Right? Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman, liberty to gad abroad. And when you go into that word gad abroad, that means a busybody, a woman who's everywhere. You got a woman and she's she works full time. Then she goes to the gym, and then she's going to the club, That's a woman that's gad abroad. She's never at home. She's everywhere but at home. You got a situation where men are with the kids. The woman's out there just, like I say, she's full-time working. Then she goes to the gym. Then she's going to go to the club. That's what you call a gad abroad, a busybody. Verse 26, if she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Meaning, if she doesn't get in line, if she doesn't listen to you, if she don't respect you, if she doesn't follow your lead, get rid of the bitch. Go let her be wicked on her own. Throw some curses on the bitch. You see? So with that, I want to go ahead and close it out, but I hope the lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. A shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. A shalom to the elect. And I'm looking at the time here. Let's see, the phone had a chime on that. Because what I'm about to say is, boom, it just turned 10:44, 144. How'd I start out this lesson? Speaking about the ancient men, the 144,000. And now you look at the time, 10:44 a.m. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahshai. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.